Episode Salford City Centre, Weaste. Right, now we're getting into what a lot of people would call proper Salford. This is the heart of the city, where you'll find the shopping precinct, the famous high-rise flats and streets that have seen generations of Salford families come and go. For many people, when they picture Salford, this is exactly what they imagine. The city has changed massively over the years. Once upon a time, it was a traditional working-class industrial city built on factories, mills, docks and hard work. Almost everybody knew everybody and communities were incredibly close. Nowadays, like much of Britain, Salford has become a modern, multicultural city. It's changed a lot, but in many ways, it's still got the same heart it always had. One place that always brings back memories is Salford shopping precinct. Years ago, it was absolutely buzzing. There was an indoor market packed with traders selling everything you could imagine. You'd have butchers, greengrocers, cafes, market stalls, clothes shops. You could spend hours there. I believe part of that indoor market is still there today, with a handful of shops keeping it going. But it's a reminder of just how busy and thriving the area once was. For me though, buildings don't make Salford, the people do. When people talk about the salt of the earth, this is exactly the sort of place they're talking about. These are people who would genuinely give you their last pound if you needed it. If you were hungry, they'd feed you. If you needed clothes, they'd find you some. If you were struggling, somebody would always try and help. That's the Salford I grew up knowing. Tough people on the outside, but with hearts of gold. Because Salford has always had this reputation around the country for being rough. Don't get me wrong, it could be rough. Like any big city, there were areas you didn't want to wander into looking for trouble. But the reputation never really told the full story. The vast majority of people here are decent, hard-working people who simply look after each other. Now we're coming into Ordsall, another famous part of Salford with loads of history. One of my good mates, Shinny Davenport, is from around here. Back in the day, there were some proper characters in Ordsall. Plenty of tough lads, plenty of Salford Rugby League players too. Big-hearted blokes who'd stand by their mates no matter what. If you were one of their friends, they'd do anything for you. I've got nothing but respect for people like that, and I'm grateful to have known them. I've had some brilliant days and nights around this area, especially following Manchester United. One thing people outside Salford sometimes don't realise is just how many passionate United supporters come from this city. Salford and Manchester United have always gone hand in hand. Old Trafford is literally on our doorstep, just across the border, and generations of Salford families have followed United home and away. There's also a rich history surrounding football culture here. During the 1970s, 80s and 90s, Salford had a reputation for producing some of the most loyal and passionate supporters around. Football was a way of life. Match day wasn't just about 90 minutes, it was about meeting your mates, travelling together and being part of something much bigger than yourself. Whether people agree with football hooliganism or not, it's undeniably part of the area's history and culture. Geographically, this part of Salford is fascinating. On one side you've got Trafford, which links directly into Manchester and Old Trafford. Head the other way and you're travelling towards Eccles, Weaste and the western side of the city. You're right in the middle of what many people would call the real Salford. One of the biggest changes over the last few decades has been the people who now call Salford home. Walk around the precinct today and you'll hear different languages being spoken. You'll meet families from Africa, Asia, Eastern Europe, the Middle East and just about everywhere else. Salford has become one of the most diverse places in Greater Manchester. Like anywhere, there are still a few people who struggle with change, but the Salford I know has always been built on community. It's a city that welcomes people. If you come here, work hard, respect others and become part of the community, you'll usually find people welcome you with open arms. To me, that's what makes Salford special. It's never really been about where you're from, it's about how you treat people. In many ways, Salford City Centre reminds me of places like Cheetham Hill, Longsight and Moss Side. Areas that have become incredibly multicultural while still holding on to their own identity. Cheetham Hill, just across the border, is probably one of the most multicultural places anywhere in Greater Manchester, and Salford has followed a similar path in recent years. Despite all the redevelopment, despite the new apartment blocks, despite Media City, despite everything that's changed, the spirit of Salford is still there. You still meet the old school Salford characters who've lived here all their lives, chatting outside the precinct or having a brew in the cafe. They're living alongside new generations who travel from all over the world to make this city their home. And I think that's what Salford has always done best. It evolves, it adapts, and it keeps moving forward, but it never loses its soul. For me, this is the Salford we all know and love. Proud, honest, hard-working, multicultural and full of people who will always look after their own.